Okay, it's 7 o'clock and I'll call the Building and Grounds Committee to order. The first item on the agenda is to discuss the placement of bike racks around the city. And I'm going to turn that over to Ian Riley, who's been involved, and he's going to explain all that.
Hi there, everyone. I've been working with Bike McMinnville through Main Street McMinnville, and the county applied last year for a $20,000 health grant through the state, which would provide for bike infrastructure through the city and county. And so we originally were wanting to do at least 5 bicycle racks and 2 repair stations, plus design and printing of a brochure for certain bike routes through the city, and also helmets and lights for kids for safety, and then also for other high-risk users. Working with several different companies on quotes, we were able to actually get 12 different bike racks that we'll be installing based on the information that we had done, talking with the public, kind of seeing where they think would be good places for these. So we'll have 12 bike racks to install and 4 repair stations. And if you look down in the screen here further, you can see examples of what type of racks we picked out and the types of repair stations. So these will be going in, as far as the racks go, at the courthouse, Court Square on the south side, Civic Center, and the Farmers Market. And then the repair stations will also be going, 1 repair station at the Civic Center, 1 at the Farmers Market, 1 at Riverfront Park, and 1 at the Greenway on South Chancery, where there's already an existing bike rack there. So these are really to help people keep their bike safe, and also then provide places for folks, if they're riding, to add air to their tires or fix their bike for minor issues.
Do you have specific locations on the Court Square where these would be installed?
We were looking at near the Chamber of Commerce, but that was still to kind of be determined through city and like making sure that we're following ADA spacing and all that.
Okay. Would these be on the sidewalk? Are they on?
So
kind of
for the bike racks, they're to be installed in concrete with bolts, and so they can be either on asphalt, concrete, some sort of hard surface that they'll be basically have plates at the bottom of them, and then they'll be drilled through. So it can be on, for the farmers market, it would be somewhere near the market in the asphalt there in the parking lot. As far as for the courthouse, I know they were looking at doing it on the sidewalk for people who might not be able to use their car, but trying to get to court.
Okay.
Do we need to donate a parking space for these down the square?
You're not asking to take up a parking space, Ian?
No, these are typically installed for the racks when they're not, they can either be kind of daisy chained together in longer forms, or they can be installed singly. These are a simple hoop rack. You can fit 2 bicycles, and they are designed to be put onto sidewalks as long as there's enough ADA space for walkways. So we're not looking to take any parking away on the square at all.
Okay. I think it's a great idea.
I do too. I think it's wonderful. Some good news.
As long as they come to us and to get the spots approved that are downtown.
Yes, I'm assuming we didn't need to take any action on this. It was just kind of a discussion and a presentation.
Yeah, Ian, do you need approval from us? Are you asking to go ahead and install these, or what's the specific request right now?
So right now we are, they're in the midst of being purchased through the county. So there's no monetary stuff from the city, but we will need to be able to have designated spots at the farmers market, and then also in Court Square where these can go. And then these will be put, as far as for repair stations, 1 at either end of the Greenway, 1 on Chancery, and then 1 at Riverfront Park. And also I've talked to Scott McCord with Parks and Rec, and they will be adding several of these in a repair station at the Civic Center. Still not sure where exactly yet, but we're working through that.
Okay, do the repair stations require electricity or anything?
No. So all they are tools that are tethered via steel cables to where the person come up, say they've got, either a flat tire they need to pop off, or they've got like to reset their chain on their bike. So these tools are suspended from the top of the repair station. They can then use them. They can't be stolen easily. And then there's an air pump attached to it with a gauge. No electricity needed, simply the space to install it.
Is there a way to get, I see there's some things hanging down with some cords you were talking about. Is there a way to get a lot of extra things of that? The reason I ask is that at some point we've had a lot of the air compressor stations that I think Bridgestone donated or partnered with and put throughout the city. And just over time, the end piece continually gets stolen, people vandalize it. So it'd be good to get a lot of extra of those pieces to just continually put back on once somebody takes them. They will.
I can reach out to, I know that the company we're using who got the bid for the repair stations has all of those accessories that are, you can get additional. We can do that. And we've still got some grant money, which we could do that.
I think that'd be a really good idea because they will definitely be taken and vandalized over time.
That and putting it in a lighted area or something too.
Most of these are going to be in high traffic areas as far as for at least on the greenways. They're at the very end near where there's already other infrastructure such as bike racks, the bathrooms. As far as then in the court, in the farmer's market area, again, we're aiming for something in that parking lot that would be convenient to the farmer's market, and then the back side of downtown there. And the Civic Center, again, would be where we're aiming for high traffic areas for these, for best use.
Okay. Well, if there's no action we need to take, I think that
this is Katie Canizas, and I've been working with Ian on this, and I did want to add there is one more ask, and that is to work with Public Works to actually install these in the ground.
Yeah, I think this committee could probably go ahead and approve that, right? To ask for Public Works to help facilitate finding locations, and then also once locations are attained and approved by the board, that Public Works will help install these. So I think right now the ask would be to direct Public Works to help with the location of the stations and bike racks.
And then they would come back with that to get the approval.
Right. Yeah, once we have an X on a map for each individual ask, then we can approve that. I don't think we have to approve them individually, but approve the entire plan of locations once those are located.
But yes, I think that sounds great. Does anybody have any other questions or discussion on that?
I do not.
No, thanks.
Okay, so that will lead us. Thank you very much, Ian.
Thank you.
Yeah, good work, guys.
Yes.
Mhm.
The second item on the agenda is to consider request from Rachel Killebrew on behalf of McMinnville Breakfast Rotary regarding the Adopt a Mile River program and the new safety system. There's information in the packet, and that I hope everyone's looked at. I would turn it over to Rachel Killebrew to give us a rundown on the information.
Well, thank you all for letting me come before you and talk about this. As you all know and have participated in, we've been cleaning the river for 14 years, so we've learned a lot. And along the way, safety became a real issue that we realized people in the water do not know where they are. And when they get in trouble, they can't tell 911 where to come to pick them up. And the GPS system that they had, because our rivers are down low and have so much foliage and rocks, it bounces off and gives them the wrong address. So 911 has been dealing with this for a long time. And so what Chuck Haston approached us to do is together put in a safety system, and what we have different stages of it. And the first stage is done, and that is small signs. Hopefully you all have noticed them along every mile along the river. This also serves as there you can see the sign right there. And thanks to Hannah Bailey and her family, they hung those signs 45 miles of the Collins River. So that was a wonderful, and rescue squad and several other people hung the ones on Hickory Creek and Barren Fork. And these serve to let people know when they adopt a mile, where to start and where to stop. And so we do it by these 4-digit codes. And the 4-digit code starts with 2 letters that let you know what river you're on. Like CL is the Collins, and BF is the Barren Fork, and HC is Hickory Creek. The last 2 digits, TWRA and 911 came up with this system. The last 2 digits tell you that BF02 is 2 miles from the mouth of the river. And Chuck Haston worked with his software company, and they put in every GPS coordinate for every sign. So part of the plan as we are evolving is an education system to have people learn to look for that and know that if they get in trouble, that's all they need to give 911, and they'll be able to find them quickly, because they'll know exactly where they are. So that is all gone in, and that's working well. And the rescue squad, when they were installing the ones on the Barren Fork, they saved 6 groups of people that got in trouble and didn't know where they were or anything. And most of them did not have life jackets in their boats, and 2 of them had babies in the boats. So safety has become a bigger issue. We're part of Cumberland River Compact and also American Rivers. It's become such a big issue everywhere because with kayaks, everybody can buy a boat, and people are going on the river and they don't know precautionary things, and they get in trouble. So that rate has gone up huge. I've been following that for several years with American Rivers. It's a problem everywhere. So this system, we've installed that large part, and now the part that we would like to have you all help us with is, and this idea came from Cumberland River Compact and TWRA, is to make sure we have a sign at every entry and exit point that you put a boat in or take it out, and have it located in an area to encourage them to look. And it'll have the 4-digit code, and if you need 911, give them this code and remember these and watch for them along the river. And then TWRA is doing the maps for us, and I included one. I think there's a map I put on there that shows where Pepper Branch Park is, and TWRA printed all these maps, but they're having to be redone now because we've added public access areas and bridges, and so Will Collier's going to print those signs, the maps again, and it's got the 4-digit code on there, and it'll say you are here, much like a mall. When you're at a mall, you go to the map and it'll say you are here, then you can find where you're going and that kind of thing. So it'll work like that. It'll have a arrow pointing with the 4-digit code, and this is a sign that's going on the bridges, and TDOT is going to hang these, and it will go below the road, only visible from the water. It won't be visible from the road at all. It will only be if you're going down the river. This sign will be underneath the road on that concrete, and it'll have the name of the river, the name of the bridge, and the 4-digit code. So if they get in trouble, that's all they'll have to give them is the 4-digit code, but it'll also, hopefully they'll get to know more about which river they're on. And most of the people that call, Chuck said, don't even know what river they're on. So this will tell them that. And so they're in my garage now. They've been made. They were $4,000, and Breakfast Rotary paid for all of that. And TDOT's going to hang them for nothing. So
Rachel, what is your ask of the city board tonight?
Oh, well, okay, I'm sorry. I'm a very detailed person. I apologize. What we want to ask you is, we're now at stage 4, where we're going to be putting up signs in the public access area. And we will do them for the whole county of Warren. And we haven't been able to complete this because it was going to be so expensive, and Rotary didn't have the money. And a couple of weeks ago, Hannah Bailey, who is sitting here with me, and I'll let her explain her Eagle Scout. She applied and got approved for an Eagle Scout project to build the signs. We couldn't afford to buy them because they were so expensive. So her Eagle Scout project, and I'll let her tell you about that. And what we need from you all is permission, and also we need from you all to locate the sign at the best location. Because of flooding, you'll know better in your public access areas where would be the best place that people putting boats in and getting out would see the sign and hopefully read it. And it would also be safe from car damage or floods or whatever. So we would need you all to give us permission to do it for the areas in the city, and also to help us with the location. And then
Let's hear from the Eagle Scout here
Yeah.
on her project and figure out what these things are going to look like. Give us a brief description of those, please.
So these signs are going to be put up on 4x4 posts, and 2 feet of that will be in the ground, and then 4 feet out of the ground. So it's going to end up being about 6.5 feet tall. The signs themselves will be 2 foot by 3 foot, and those are going to have, as Ms. Rachel said, access, information about the 4-digit code signs, as well as information about wildlife and different things that you can look for on the river. Total, we'll be putting up 12 of these signs, but not all of those will be in the city. What we're asking for is permission to put those up at the city access points and a good location to put those.
These are being modeled like the Bigby Trail signs. We like those that you all picked for that. And so that's kind of her model, and she's going to be building them. We've set up an account at ACE, and Lindsay's going to help her make sure she gets good products, and Rotary will pay that bill. So this won't cost the city anything. And it will be covered by her labor. And Wally Bigby was the one that approved her Eagle Scout project. And if you all approve and agree to help this, we'd like to start with the ones in the city before we do the ones in the county. And also, Wally is going to ask the Greenway group to participate and help along the way with anything that they need to help.
Rachel?
Yes.
I've got a question. Do you want these put not only at public access, but also at private access, like at down at Smooth Rapids, or what?
Yeah, they already want one, and they've agreed to point it out to everyone that they put in the water and when they get out, and ask them if they're we want to get some data from some of those places too, and also out at the Muskie place. Anything that's a private thing that puts people in and out of the water, we are going to ask to permission to do that.
So all you need from us is just some help in determining where to put the signs.
And permission to put them on the city property.
And permission. And we don't know what form that is. Would you all issue that to us, or for her Eagle Scout project, or to Rotary, or how do
Well, it seems like it would be similar to the bike racks, really. A map with locations, and then maybe we see a finalized sign itself, and maybe go forward from there with permission granted at that.
Yeah, I think that the committee, Rachel, for your purposes, I think the committee will be willing to approve the signage on city property. That's not an issue. It's really just going to be, we can just approve the locations for those things. And once you get those figured out. So work with Scott McCord or possibly Hank Patton on figuring out where those are going to be, because we obviously have some locations that flood regularly and you don't want the sign to be washed away.
Right.
For example, at Pepper Branch, we already have a pretty good kiosk down there that has a lot of information on it. And it could be that you could place your information inside that particular kiosk. I think that was built in a location that's not supposed to wash away. We may have others. I think there may be one. Is there one at, I'm not sure if there's one at Sally's Alley or not, but I'd say just making sure, like you said, that they're not going to get flooded and washed out is probably the main concern. And then also useful so that people can see them before they go down to the water.
Yes.
And as part of my project, I'm supposed to do some of the research like that, so I can definitely look into where those signs would be best put up with interest to them not flooding. So that's not an issue.
Good.
Excellent. Well, thank you, young lady, for all of your help in this. This is a great Eagle Scout project, and really glad that you applied and that it was approved by Dr. Bigby. I know that he's got a good mind for these things, and this will be a really great and useful project for not just the city of McMinnville, but all of Warren County and all of our visitors. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I also wanted to tell you all that Sparta, White County is following right behind us on every step. And they're doing great. So we're going, where we meet at Rock Island, the rescue squad said we really need to make sure that area is covered because the GPS systems don't work well there. With, everything's got rocks and trees and too deep. So we're going to make sure that, and TWRA is helping to make sure that those dangerous areas are going to be covered between our two counties.
Yes.
Rachel,
Mm-hmm.
Killebrew,
Yes.
this is Scott. Just reach out to me and I'll help her in any way.
Good.
Thank
I
you.
was hoping you'd say that. Thank you. We will. And Hannah will be in touch.
Yes.
Thank you for doing that, Hannah, and thank you too, Rachel, for what all you do.
You're welcome. Thank you all for everything. And I hope we can one day have this included in our tourism brochure. Cumberland River Compact was the one that suggested that. And I think that's a good idea.
Thank you so much, Haley, and to everyone involved in that. It's Breakfast Rotary and Chuck Haston and all the people with the Adopt a Mile. So that's wonderful. And I guess I'd like to know if there's any other business to come before this.
I don't have any.
Then I will call this committee meeting adjourned.